Alrighty, today is Wednesday, August 27th, and today is a very, very special day because today marks the very first day this entire season that I caught fish above this bridge, right there. I finally caught fish above this bridge, and we got a lot of fish. It was fun. We had all of our fish, by all, I mean everyone's limit, by 9:30, and I'm not saying that to be braggadocious. What I'm saying that is to hopefully make this a teaching moment. Everybody, or not everybody, but there was a handful of boats up above the bridge, up in the humps yesterday, or not yesterday, today. All the days run together. So today, up above the bridge, I ran up there all the way to the top, up all the forks, up at South Ditch, Middle Ditch, all that. Ran all the way up there, lots of grass, and didn't really see much fish on the grass. They were there, but not a ton. And we got halfway through the troll, got grassed up bad. I said, guys, I'm out of here. We jumped over to the humps. And there were maybe 2 or 3 boats, and first pass we started catching fish. Other boats started to filter in. There were probably about maybe 30 boats doing the humps there. And with, does that guy have a fish on over there? Let's look, let's see if I can zoom in. He is the only boat doing the troll here at the bottom of the tide. Zoom in. Come on, stable. I think they got a fish on. Well, that's cool. He's the only boat up here at the bottom of the tide up here in the anchorage. I think he's got one on. Okay, back to the teaching moment. So there were 30 boats or so up there, and it was pretty good. Everybody was catching fish. Everybody was having a great time. And I think it's because we're just conditioned to think that as the tide drops out, you follow the fish down below the bridge. Well, what I've always preached the entire time I've been doing these video updates is you have to trust your electronics. I saw guys, after getting 1 or 2 fish in a pass, keep trolling on down and get below the bridge. We stayed above the bridge, and I had the same thought, let's drift on down. I'm not saying that I did anything special, except I trusted my electronics. And I'm not saying my active target, this was on my 2D, because on my active target, I can't really see fish when they're close to the bottom, which is why I run the 2D. Here, I'll show you my little setup. So what I'm always looking at is I got my active target going here, my map showing my course, making sure I'm on the right troll, and then I got my 2D. So when I was out there at the humps in about 20-30 feet of water, I saw hardly any fish on my active target because I cannot pick up fish close to the bottom. I looked over here on my 2D on an outgoing tide, the fish were belly in the dirt. I mean, I could barely mark them over here. So what we did is we dropped them all down to the deck. I had to go to, well, at the beginning of the outgo, the current was going real funky. It was going really fast at the bottom. I had to almost give it full throttle on the kicker to keep the gear working. But as soon as that current settled down at the bottom and the surface current started going a little faster, we were going dead slow, almost in neutral, and my line counter in the back was at 50 to get down to 30 feet of depth. So once we did that, the current settled down, we started whacking them. And I saw boat after boat after boat slide on down and out of there. So I was one of maybe 5 boats that stayed up there above the bridge. And I'm not saying that the guys that went below the bridge didn't catch fish or anything else, but all I'm trying to drive home is that you have to trust your electronics. Because we went 1 pass with only getting 1 bite, but I still marked fish. Don't leave fish to find fish, right? So we just kept staying on them, and then when that current settled out, we were able to just get a nice straight troll and not this sideways troll that we had to do because that current was coming off the sand so hard. As soon as it straightened out, boy, it was wide open. We had all 6 rods. We'd had like 3 rods go, and while we're messing with that, another 2 rods go, and then we only had 1.1 rod on the water. Like, hey, we only got 1 rod left, and then it folds over. It was Western. I hate this term, but coho rodeo, right? So all I'm trying to say is that you have to trust your electronics. When you see fish on your graph, do not lead them, at least if there's enough of them. Okay, hopefully I've driven that point home. Does color matter? I had one of my guys this morning say, hey, I want to change out my spinner color. Those other ones are working pretty good. Can I switch over to that? And then immediately his rod folds over, and then he proceeds to catch 2, 3, 4 more on it. So what I've always kind of learned, not always, but what I've learned here recently using the active target is watching all 6 rods. When a fish comes in, it's either going to eat or it's going to hang out in the gear and kind of swim around, look at all of them. I very rarely have a fish come into the gear, and look at one rod to the next to the next and finally choose on the third or fourth rod it looks at. Very rarely does that happen. Usually what happens is the first rod that it sees, it bites, if it's going to bite at all. Or they just flare off the gear, come up, nose at it, look at it, and bail. So today I had three or four different color spinners out. They all got bit equally. What's more important, I've been preaching this part for years in all the seminars that I've done over the years, is that there are 3 steps to being successful. 3 steps. Number 1 is location. If you are not in front of the fish, I don't care if you got the best lure, the best bait, the best scent. If you're not in front of them, you can't catch them. That means not only location in the river, but also in the water column too. Oh, that's aggressive. Blue heron's fighting a pigeon. Oh no, that's a falcon. Oh, that's cool. Bird fight. Sorry, squirrel, distracted. So, number 1, location. If you're not around fish, you can't catch them. Right part of the water column, like I said, we had to slow down and drop them down to the dirt, even though we're in the right area along the sands there. We're around the fish, but we had to drop it down and get in their kitchen for them to bite. So location's number 1. Number 2 is presentation, and that goes to our troll speed. We had to slow it down, keep it in their face as long as possible. Presentation can also include triangles or 360 flashers. Do they want short leaders, longer leaders? That type of thing. Once you figure out location and then your presentation, number 3 is your color and scent and lure. Until you figure out 1 and 2, 3 is irrelevant. So you always have to figure out location first, presentation second, color, bait, scent third. Remember that order. It has to be done in that order. 1, get on the fish. 2, figure out the presentation that they want. 3, dial in your color, scent, lure, whatever it is. So if you go through it with those steps in that order, you will be more successful for sure. Now, today was a good day for me. It doesn't always happen day after day after day. Watch, tomorrow I'm going to struggle. Heck, yesterday I struggled a little bit. I know we ended up just 1 short of our 6-man limit, but it was a grind. It was a grind. We had to keep on plugging away at it. So I think what happened was, it's kind of interesting. These fish, usually on tides like this, these falling tides, we see a lot more kings. And we also see the kings slide up into that warm water, up into these ditches up above the bridge. That didn't happen today. The guys that went down below the bridge, and honestly, maybe that's why they went below the bridge. They caught enough coho and they slid down to go chase kings, because the guys that went below the bridge on both sides of the river, down around Hammond and down around Chinook, they found kings down there. So maybe they just caught plenty of coho. They wanted to go chase bigger fish. Don't blame them one bit for that. So, but typically what happens is on these tides, the kings will start to slide up. You find the coho further downriver around Buoy 10, Marker 1, Buoy 2014, around that area in the colder water. Well, today I was up in very warm water, pushing 70 degrees on your screen, 72 on mine, and we were hammering them. They were up there and it was all coho. We only got 2 kings, lost 2 others. Everything else was coho. So this is just a weird year, man. I don't know. Like I said, I have not had to really follow water temp this year like I have in other years. I'm catching coho up in the ditches on a softer tide when it should be kings. I don't know. But that's part of the fun. We gotta learn each and every year and figure it out each and every day. Tomorrow's a new day, and watch, I probably won't get a bite until 11 a.m. You just take the good with the bad. Oh man, okay. I got an absolute yard sale. Check this out. Yard sale of spinners. Come on, Barbie, let's go party. Oh yeah. Rods are still up. What's nice about today being off the water early is that I can go and work on a bunch of gear, type a ton of new spinners, and retie rods, work on the boat, take a nap. Whew. August 27th, man. It took me this long to catch fish above the bridge. Interesting year. Interesting year. Hope you guys have been having fun following along, because this has been something. All right, time to go park the boat. I'm back in the harbor here. See you guys tomorrow. Hopefully with another good report, but maybe not. Later.